Hey everybody, it's Carla again from the Medicine Hat Public Library. Today I'm here with a STEAM Saturday for you, and STEAM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Mathematics. And it's a bunch of really cool concepts that we get to do experiments and projects and crafts around. And today's video is really cool. We are going to be making crystal ornaments. And so as you can see, I made these swirly ornaments. You can make these whatever shape you want. I just chose this one because I think they look really cool. And we are going to look at the process of crystallization while we make these. So let's read off the science first, and then we'll get into making the ornaments. So crystals can form when a supersaturated liquid that contains a dissolved mineral cools. And in this activity, the supersaturated solution is boiling water, hot water, and borax. And borax is a soft crystal, so that's that dissolved mineral that I talked about. And as the solution cools down, the water molecules come closer together again, causing the borax crystals to form and cling to the pipe cleaner, which is what we're going to use. So again, we heat the borax up. We dissolve it into the hot water. As the water cools, those water molecules come close together again, and the dissolved borax turns into crystals, creating these really cool ornaments. So this is something that I do want to say, it is an activity that you are going to need help from an adult with. One, because we're using boiling water and I don't want anybody to get burnt. And two, because we are using borax, and this is something that you don't want to get in your eyes or in your mouth. So even if you have some of those cool safety goggles, you can put some of those on. And if not, just be very careful with this one. Other than that, it's pretty simple. All we're going to do is choose a color of pipe cleaner. And I'm going to choose pink. And if you want to do this same swirly design, it's very simple. You're just going to bend your pipe cleaner and kind of bend it into a swirl. As you can see, I'm doing this very simply. Kind of make a little circle swirl, and then take that inside one and kind of pull it out. And then you can kind of work with it and perfect it and make it the shape you want after you have that kind of base swirl. So I'm just going to tighten mine up a little bit so it looks kind of like a spring, and then you can play with how far you want to pull it apart, or if you want to keep it a little closer, you can do that. One thing you have to remember is it has to fit inside of an empty container in order to sit in your borax solution. So this is a very simple one like this. If you want to make a different shape and you don't want to do the little swirl, you could do anything else. You could take a pipe cleaner and put it into a circle shape and have circle ornaments. You could form this into a square, a diamond. You could make it into a heart. You could fold it in half and then shape it around like a heart if you want. Any shape works. Anything that you could form with your pipe cleaner. I really like how these little swirls look though. So the next thing we're going to do with this is we are going to attach it to some string. And I just have some yarn here, some very simple yarn. I'm going to cut a little bit off. And then what you're going to do is you're going to tie this onto your pipe cleaner. There we have our string attached, and then you can take a straw or a pencil, chopstick, wooden dowel, anything that's this shape that we are going to put over our cup so that it can hang. And you want this to be able to hang in your cup without having this touch the sides or the bottom of your container. So this one, I'm gonna just push together a little bit so it doesn't hit the bottom. And then you can either tie your string onto your straw and put it in, or what I found works really nice is if you just take the top of your pipe cleaner, you can just bend it over your straw too, and it will hold it in place as well, but then you'll still have the string on it when it's finished so that you can hang it up. So whichever way works best for you. I found they both work, but I like just twisting it to the straw because it's a little bit more stable. All right, so now that you have this good to go, you know that your pipe cleaner is not touching the bottom of your cup and not touching the sides, you're good to make your borax solution. I will tell you that I did this twice, and in one I used this glass container, and it also formed crystals all the way around the container. And the second one, I used one of these red solo cups, and it formed a tiny bit of crystals around it, but nowhere near as many as the glass one. So keep that in mind when you're doing this. I should be able to just put more boiling water in here and redissolve that solution and clean it out, no problem. But if you want to make sure you use a container that it's okay to have some crystals form in it too, just to be on the safe side. And so again, I'm gonna just use my little red solo cup for this one. And let's get into our solution. So I have some pre-boiled water in my kettle here. It is good to go, it's still hot. And what you're going to do is you are going to take a measuring cup and you are going to put in 2 cups of water. So I'm going to fill this to 2 cups. After I have my water in here, I'm going to use a measuring spoon, and I'm going to put 6 tablespoons of borax. So depending on the size of your container, you might have to make more or less of this solution. So if you need a smaller amount, it's 3 tablespoons of borax for 1 cup of water. And I've doubled it to 6 tablespoons of borax for 2 cups of water. For this big one, I needed 3 cups of water. So it all depends what container you're using, and you just have to do a little bit of math to figure that out. And then I'm just going to put my borax right into my warm water here. Stir it up. You're gonna want to stir this nice and gently. Then I'm gonna make sure mine just cools just a little bit since I'm putting it in a plastic container. If you have a glass container, you obviously don't have to worry as much about letting it cool, but I know that these can handle pretty hot water, so I'm just gonna give this a few seconds just to cool down before I pour it in here. So we'll be back in just a few seconds. We're back. My solution has cooled down just a little bit, so I feel a little bit more comfortable putting it in a plastic cup. Again, if you're using a glass cup, that's not a problem. You could probably also use your measuring cup if you're okay using glass and put it right in there. But I'm gonna put it in here just so it has its own little place. All right. And then I'm going to take my pipe cleaner, I'm gonna submerge it in the water. I'm gonna keep my string out and let it balance just over the top there. And then this does take some time. So you do need to let it sit overnight. Even, before overnight, you'll start to see the crystals form. I would say I started to see mine form within like 5-6 hours, but I did leave them in the solution overnight to get the full effect. And since I have 2 already made here for you, I'm not gonna make you sit and wait a whole day to see these ones, because it will turn out to look the same as these, except pink. So I'm really excited about this craft. I think these will look really cool hanging around the house. And if you do make this, I really would love to see what you make. I'd like to see if you do the swirl pattern like I did, or if you got creative and did some different shapes. I'd love to see them. I'd like to see the color that you use, what type of string you use to hang them up, where you hung them up. There's so many possibilities and choices with this craft. And you can share those with us at MHPublicLibrary. You can tag us in your photos, or you can share them to us on any of the social media platforms. And also, if you do want to find more videos like this and storytime videos, lots of fun stuff, check out our YouTube page at MHPublicLibrary. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you do this craft. It's super cool. You get a really fun little ornament out of it. These would even be really fun to do at Christmas time to decorate for the holidays. All right, that's all I have for you today. Bye.